This is the second show of the G3 tour. Last night was the first show. And
it was good. Good last night.
It was fabulous. Really good. It's been about 5 years now since we've.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's really nice to be back on tour.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. There were some crazy ham things going on.
Oh boy.
Steve Lukather's rig fried the night before. And so he had to go with a different system. One of my amps started acting really weird. It turned out it was just a fuse. But
Was that what that was?
Yeah, right before I went on, so I had to switch to a second. So, things like that happen.
I came out, my monitors weren't working at all.
Yeah. Your fan wasn't blowing?
I didn't know, I mistakenly didn't bring the fan. I thought that I only needed the fan to blow my hair back.
Yeah.
I was hot on that stand last night. This one fan. You got a spare fan, Joe?
Are you kidding?
No, you guys should have your own fans one now, eh?
Yeah, we should. Well, this is the time where you guys can ask us any question you like. It's kind of free form, so raise your hand and one of us will pick. So go ahead, Steve, you start off.
Steve, first time I saw you was on Crossroads. Awesome movie.
Awesome, man.
How did that, after you done that movie, how was it for you? And after you did that movie, your future, what?
Well, the most remarkable thing to me is before I had done Crossroads, I was touring, and I made some records. I was with Frank Zappa and all, and I've done a lot of touring after that, obviously, and I made a lot of records. But what was remarkable to me was the exposure that you get from a film, dwarfs, all of that, kind of rock and roll stuff. I mean, I had more people coming up to me in the street years and years after that saying, "Hey, aren't you that really badass guy?" But it was just a part for me. And after that, I got some offers to do more acting. And I thought, well, maybe I can do this. And I started to go to some classes, and I started studying acting. And what I realized, like anything else, it's a real art. And it's something that you have to be really natural at. You got to work at it. I felt that if I was to do it, I'd have to work really hard. And I just didn't want anything to take away from the music. And plus, I love great acting, and one of my favorite pastimes is a good movie. But I always felt ridiculous acting. I don't know what it was. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of scenes in Crossroads where I broke down laughing hysterically. Do you ever get in one of those situations where you just get into this laughing fit and you can't stop? Well, I had that moment with the camera. And there's this one scene where I right before I throw the guitar down, where I pick my head up like this, and I have to look really bad. It felt so ridiculous to me that they had to do so many takes because I would go. So I didn't think I was ever going to be a great actor.
How much did you show the karate kid? Did you teach him?
Ralph? Yeah, he's a pro. See, he was a professional actor, and he really took it seriously. And we got together a lot, and I showed him, and he worked really hard on how to fake the part. And he was really great to work with.
Awesome. Thank you.
But I kicked his ass.
Mr. Vito? Yeah. What was Steve like when you were teaching him? Did he catch on to things really quick? Or did it just come natural when you were teaching him?
Well, he was a lot shorter than I was. I don't know what happened there, but he was incredibly gifted, and he was a complete beginner, which was really amazing to see someone who didn't already know, let's say, 50 songs and hadn't jammed around with people just from scratch, just have this accelerated rate of improvement just over a couple of weeks. And he started taking lessons with a friend. They used to come together, and they just split apart. His buddy just was moving at a snail's pace, and Steve had his own rocket. I mean, it was just, he'd come back with things that I asked him to do, what we figured out, and then he had some new ideas to show me. Things he'd worked on, probably thought I hadn't thought of yet, this stuff. And it was great. So it was very exciting to sort of grow a buddy, a comrade, you know what I mean? That's kind of like what it was like. Because by the time we were finished, we were just sort of getting together and jamming back to back. It wasn't really a student-teacher relationship, anymore. But those first couple of years, that's kind of like what it's like. That's when you do a lot of learning really fast. If you're really dedicated, like Steve was, you really do take off.
So you're happy with all these Steve's accomplishments?
Every night during the show, I'm taking notes. What'd you do that for?
Excuse me, Joe, did you realise that you guys would be like legends later on in life, and thinking that it was like,
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of our life's greatest blessings.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
Is that we've had such a great career together.
It's amazing.
because all us guys here go, man, you guys.
We're not it worked out. I really think that the reason why I was even able to excel at the instrument was because of him.
Is that right?
I feel that way.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think about it, and my respect for Joe when I was a little kid was, I mean, first of all, he was a few years older, and he could really play, and he was just cool. He was cool from head to toe. You know, long hair. I actually saw him walk out of a class in school once because the teacher said something he didn't like, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And, you know, my lesson was everything. It was everything. I mean, I had some, some home issues and stuff, so it was part of my consciousness. And when you get into things when you're young too,
Yeah.
and my focus was, is this good enough for Joe?
Yeah.
That's really what I felt. And some things you just don't give up. And I'd be perfectly honest with you. The two people that I think about when I'm working on something and I want to accomplish something, I think, is this good enough for Joe? And is it good enough for Frank?
Is that right?
It's still to this day.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a thing that's stuck. And I enjoy it because it's a level of excellence that I try to achieve. And it's always been that way, and I really think that's one of the only reasons I've been able to achieve.
That's amazing, man.
Cool. Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
How do you pick names for your songs?
Oh, that's easy. The inspiration for the song is there right at the beginning. So I've already got a story, a movie, maybe several versions of the title that I'm working from. And that's kind of like what guides me to edit the music properly, to keep it focused on the subject.
Do you visualize something before you write it, or have the melody?
Well, boy, music comes to me in so many different ways. I've had songs come all at once. I've had songs take decades.
Yeah.
The things you write, you don't know really what's going on with them, or why you're writing it. It doesn't crystallize till later. I think most of the time, though, it's an experience, personal or with a person, or a place, or maybe even a tour, or even a situation like this. I pick up something for unexplained reasons, and it stays with me, and I feel like it needs to get expressed musically. And as I start to realize that, I'm hearing a melody line, or a groove, or a chord sequence, or something like that. And so I try to stay focused on that. So getting that title down actually helps me remember, that moment that the inspiration came, so I don't stray from it. Because my fear is always that I will apply general guitar workmanship to every song. You know what I mean? And I don't want that. I want everything to be specific for that story as much as I possibly can do.
Thanks.
Sure.
Steve, this question for you. Are you going to be using more 7-string on your next album? And are you ever going to tour with your Swirl universes again?
What was the second part?
I'm just curious to know if you'd ever tour with your Swirl universes again?
Oh, well, it's funny you ask. Yes, there's I think 3 songs on the record I made that has I use a 7-string, and so I will be touring with it. And I have the guitar that I like the most is the burnt one. It was a swirl that I took a blowtorch to.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Far out in liquid. Yeah, but they're pretty heavy songs. The whole record is extremely dense.
Awesome, thank you.
Totally overproduced.
Question for Joe. I noticed, reading your tabs and chord books and things, and